Kevin Gordon here from Autosavant.com with your June 13th edition of the Afternoon Commute. Apologies for my informal attire. I went to the gym before the ride home because I'm getting a little pudgy in the middle. And as Jay Morse always says, you know, it's okay to have this if you have kids, but you gotta have the arms to go with it. So doing a little work there. Not that anybody cares. On to the Afternoon Commute. So I have a question for you. Do you think people have good memories? Would you say that, you know, the population of the United States is blindly optimistic? Well, if you go by how people drive when gas prices go down and how they use fuel when gas prices go down, you'd have to say, one, they have terrible memories, and two, they really are blindly optimistic. So gas prices in the nation are down over the last 2 months, and over the last 2 months, guess what's up? Fuel usage, or in other words, average miles per gallon is down as fuel prices are down. No real shock there, but you know, it's amazing how it correlates to truck sales. Gas prices are going to go back up. There's no sort of magic to this. It's just a supply and demand and seasons and refining capabilities perspective. I hate to tell you out there, but if you think drilling in the United States is going to make gas cheaper, it's not, because China and India are more than willing to go buy our fuel, even if it comes out of our ground at this point. Not political in any nature there, just a little matter-of-fact statement. So anyway, fuel economy on its way down. It's only 1/10 of a point for the last 2 months, but still down as gas prices have gotten cheaper. Speaking of things going overseas and coming from overseas, Automobile Magazine had a good report on the fact that, by the way, our own Jeff J is formerly of Automobile Magazine. So Automobile had a great article on the fact that Honda's cars that they're importing from Japan, which is the CRZ, the Insight, and the Fit, the Fit being, of course, the most critical one of those, they're losing money on those because of a weak dollar in comparison to the yen. So that's, you know, a bit of a challenge for them, in the fact that these aren't super high-priced cars and, you know, they're losing money on them. So they're going to do a lot of work to move production capability. In other words, they want to be able to build cars in Canada, the United States to some extent, and more likely Mexico, because the labor's cheaper. So in my mind, this is a great opportunity for the States. You know, another set of factories in the US to build foreign manufacturers' cars here, add some jobs, do all that good stuff. So hopefully somebody can step on that. But my guess is expect your next small Honda to be built in Mexico. Also today, the International Engine Awards were given out. And the winner for the first time ever was Ford. And no, it wasn't for the 302 that's in the Boss Mustang. It was for their 3-cylinder, 1-liter EcoBoost turbo that is powering some small European cars. Other winners were BMW, Ferrari, and GM. The GM one seems like a bit of an outlier because GM does make a lot of great engines, but the one that won was the 1.4-liter, you know, generator engine, which can also power the wheels, not making it a generator, that's in the Chevrolet Volt. You know, that engine to me doesn't seem particularly interesting, and I haven't had a chance to dig into the fact as to why they picked it. You know, it required. So again, I don't really know why they picked that one, but we'll look into it, and if it's anything interesting, we'll let you know. And finally for today, Auto Express UK is reporting, which was then covered by Truth About Cars, which is where we saw it, so credit where credit's due as usual, that the European New Car Assessment program, the NCAP, is reporting that automatic braking collision systems are going to be required to get a 5-star or a top rating in their safety system starting in 2014. So this Lexus GS 350 has something like that, although it's a bit different in the fact that it's really not about like pedestrian detection, but it does alert you to the fact that you're about to run into somebody, flashing light, and it starts to apply the brakes, but it won't go to the extent of completely avoiding an impact, and I think that's what they're interested in. I guess their stats were something that 9,000 of the accidents that were in the UK were front to rear, somebody rear-ending somebody, and their goals are to cut the amount of traffic deaths in half by 2020, I believe. So it looks like 2014's some kind of collision detection for cars. Also, those pedestrian safety systems are coming. And the best example of this, of course, is Volvo's city safety system. Although, as many of us have experienced, the city safety system is not quite perfect. I believe at one of the events we were at, somebody actually ran over the fake pop-up pedestrian that came out as the system malfunctioned. So where do we fall on this whole thing? Is this good or bad? And apologies for completely hedging this, but it is a good thing to add safety to cars. There's no doubt about that. Airbags, ABS brakes, all those things have been real improvements to cars. Not running into pedestrians is also a good thing. But I guess my ultimate concern in all of this is these systems are being added because of driver distraction. Let's face it, if you're paying attention to what's going on, you're most likely not going to rear end anybody, and if you are, the car's not going to save you. So, it's where's the balance there? Where do we get to the point where, drivers are not being distracted by their cars and by their electronics, but we're not giving up all of our ability to maintain control of our car on our own? My guess is the freedom's gone. The car will continue to think and make decisions for you. And if you want to drive yourself, you'll eventually be driving older and older models. Could be wrong. Anyway, it's what we have for today. I'm Kevin Gordon from MotorSavant.com, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.